to the knife that you sharpen with your life. Say goodbye to the dark side.
Greetings, fellow Gravewalkers, and welcome back to another video. And today, we will be doing a video very much inspired by the Epic Nate 315's 10 Tiny Details You May Have Missed in Skyrim series. A lot of these are more background lore and interesting tidbits about characters or creatures, and less about actual gameplay, simply due to the fact that there's not a lot of actual gameplay stuff that you could really miss that's tiny. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. But before we get into that, have you heard it? Have you seen it? Have you felt it? Oh, that's right, this channel has hit 500 subscribers, and you know what, real talk, I'm not going to overblow this. I didn't think that was going to happen. I remember back, what was it, in June? July? Something like that. When, I think it was in June. When I hit 300, I was like, huh, never thought that was going to happen. That's new. That's a thing. And somehow, we've gotten here. Now, granted, it's been a lot slower. Channel's taken a dip. But, you know, c'est la vie. Crap happens. But, yeah, with the 500 subscribers thing and the over 4,000 hours of watch time thing, I now have basic monetization active. So what that means is there's memberships now. So, if anything on screen looks interesting, you know, go to the description, or there's a join button somewhere. Should be. I checked this. There's a join button somewhere below. You know, go check it out. There'll probably be a link in the description, too. What you'll get with that is already on the tin, but I might as well bring it up, obviously. You got videos coming out for members 1 to 2 days early for most videos. Members will also get members-only videos. However, these videos will not be full videos. These will be behind-the-scenes bloopers. There'll be extra stuff. It'll be, you know, all that stuff. It'll be extra, not full content like this. Members will have their comments, requests, whatever request, answered first. Like, if you have a question and you're a member, you will get answered before someone who's not a member with a question. The people that aren't members and have questions will get answered, just it'll be after the people that are members. You'll get 2 emojis, one called To Battle, which is the Witch King, and one called Dark Lord, which is Sauron. And obviously you get the badge next to your name. You'll also obviously have access to members-only community posts, where I'll probably just be showing off behind-the-scenes stuff, where I am on videos, that sort of thing. Is that everything? Oh yeah, member shoutouts. Yeah, every video, after I have members, a random member will get chosen in this section where I promote stuff, which will hopefully be shorter, and they'll, you know, get the shout out. And also, all members will be listed at the end screen of the video with the music. So, if that's something you're interested in, there you go. Okay, we're getting on with this before I drag it out far too long. I'm going to have a dedicated video to this. Moving on! You're here for 10 Tiny Details. Skip all this if you only care about that. Alright, with that monologue out of the way, we can actually get on to 10 Tiny Details. For number 1, we have the Vat Keeper Uruk. The Vat Keeper Uruk has a vat on his back containing a baby Uruk suspended in some kind of liquid. This is an obvious reference to the orcs babbling on about being born in the vats. Now, this wouldn't be as interesting to me if it wasn't for my probably overextended knowledge of Lord of the Rings lore. As the Uruk-hai are simply orcs on roids, paraphrasing there, that is to say they are bigger, stronger, and immune from harmful effects from the sun, that orcs obviously are. Orcs are burned by sunlight, smaller than a man, and nowhere near as physically capable, relying more on numbers. Uruk-hai feel none of these. Why? Well, that's a loaded question. Tolkien himself never settled on how Uruk-hai were created, and the films took a relatively similar approach to the game in addressing it. However, the most likely method was crossbreeding between man and orc. A rather drab thought, I'm sure, and one we all know happened. Whether to create Uruk-hai or not, since orc men do exist. All around, this guy is of interest for more reasons than one. Next up, we have the Great Beast from Shadow of Mordor's appendices. These large beasts are related to the war elephants seen in Lord of the Rings, called the Mumakil or Oliphants by the hobbits. though these beasts seem to be rather different from the Mumakil, having no distinct trunk like an elephant or the Mumakil, along with no tusks, of which the Mumakil very distinctly has 4 of. They in fact look more like the beasts dragging Grond.
Run, Fleet Richard. Bring up the wolf's head.
Which opens the can of worms. Great beast is an umbrella term for many different yet distinctly related species, like how both dogs and bears are from suborder Caniformia. This makes more sense from a piecing together perspective, as the games like to draw from both the movies and books for ideas instead of picking one over the other. Tolkien himself left the beasts dragging Grond ambiguous, hinting they may have been Mumakil, but not confirming it. Peter Jackson very clearly took this and made the great beasts pulling Grond distinctly rhino-like. Beyond that, the great beast in Shadow of Mordor looks much like Jackson's interpretation of Grond's beasts. Other than that, they stand shorter than Mumakil at 35 feet, compared to 35 to 45 with the Mumakil, putting them also closer in height to Grond, all around something you'd have to do a decent amount of research into to notice. But here I am. For number 3, here's a cool gameplay-related one. The Mad Uruk in Shadow of Mordor can see Celebrimbor. Here's some clips.
Hello. Why is it you thing? What is so bright? Neither one of you is welcome at our table. Neither one!
Apparently losing his mind allows him to see into the unseen world, meaning he's probably seen the true forms of the Nazgul as we see them in the Fellowship of the Ring when Frodo puts the One Ring on at Weathertop. Also, since it's relevant, and not everyone will know it, the Unseen World and Wraith World are the same thing. They just simplified it for the games, since it can be a little confusing. Basically, the Unseen World is stuff invisible to the naked eye, such as most ghosts, like the Nazgul or Celebrimbor. This is why Kel is surprised Gollum can see him, and why Ratbag is confused when Talion talks to himself. Ratbag cannot see Celebrimbor. Talion can, since, the whole Black Hand casted him adrift between worlds thing, and Deltariel can, since she has the light of Galadriel, likely implying she can see the Ringwraith's true forms as well. But importantly, not everything in the unseen is evil, much like the seen. There is good and bad. Another tidbit would be simply, well, who can and can't see it. Clearly, exposure to powerful artifacts like the One Ring can completely screw with a person's mind, like in Gollum's case. But this means on a large scale is hard for me to say since we don't know of everything in the unseen, but assuming there's a lot of things most people don't see, it must be scary for someone like Gollum to see all of that, which goes ignored by everyone else. Next up is also a kind of gameplay related one, the Sawbones Uruk. These guys may seem regular with just an interesting title, but their significance to the orcs is kind of understated, as these guys are basically medics, having basic knowledge of herbs and anatomy, though not as much as elves, making their solutions rudimentary at best, and usually involving amputation. Though with their knowledge of meat and anatomy, they often act as cooks, and even assist in making that, humans may not like it, but to the orcs it's their sweet, sweet grog. Oh yeah, that's right, we have the Sawbones to blame for that. Whether you're poisoning it to, murder some orcs, or just blowing it up, blame the Sawbones. For number 5, we have a mess-up that I got by. The Tower in Shadow of Mordor is not an orc. He is a black Númenórean, a man of Númenor corrupted by Sauron, the same as the mouth of Sauron. This already makes his situation far more daunting, as well an orc being in this pain may seem bad. We know they have a higher pain tolerance, but to know this is what used to be a human in this armor makes him far more disturbing. More than that, it seems somewhat hinted at that his armor is in fact too small to accommodate his size as he grew larger from dark magics, meaning armor that once fit perfectly is now too small for him. Next up, we have a short one, but it is another fact about the Black Captains. This time, the Hammer. Interestingly, he's a man of Gondor, and actually a medic. He was also present for the last alliance of men and elves, and that's how he ended up becoming what he is. Let's just say he ended up falling to Sauron when he went to retrieve the Dark Lord's mace after it was cut from his hand by Isildur. Basically, just picking up Sauron's fallen mace corrupted him. Goes to show, I guess, not even the One Ring is the only thing that's corrupting about Sauron. Said nobody ever. Definitely not a widely known thing. For number 7, we have the descriptions of Talion's gear changing after becoming a ring wraith. Every part of the gear set changes to something rather depressing. Here's the before and after. Urfiel was Talion's sword in life, serving as his primary weapon when he was a ranger of Gondor. The dagger of Charn was once a sword belonging to Talion's son, but was broken when the orcs seized the Black Gate. Talion was issued this armor when he joined the Rangers of the Black Gate. Very few of these remain. A gift from Talion's wife Loreth, on the occasion of their first wedding anniversary. Urfiel is the blade carried by the newest of the 9 Nazgul. The dagger of Charn, forever cursed, its original owner long forgotten. Once, this armor was proud to reflect the sun, the moon. A tattered cloak so stained in blood that its origins can no longer be discerned. The cloak Loreth's embrace, becoming Dark Embrace, is by far the most depressing, being an anniversary gift that Talion wore until death. For number 8, it's literally just Targaroth. Just everything about him. A Balrog being raised at that point in history would be the first time one had been seen in literally thousands of years since the end of the War of Wrath, right before the turn of the Second Age. This means Targaroth is also unearthed before Durin's Bane in Moria by quite a bit, though how much is beyond difficult to calculate. Another cool catch would be noticing the line that says Targaroth was a general in the War of Wrath, meaning he was likely among the stronger Balrogs, though of course there isn't really weak Balrogs. Another thing would be Targaroth likely would not have served Sauron. Not that he would oppose the Dark Lord, but rather see him as an equal, since at the time of the War of Wrath, Sauron and the Balrogs were of the same rank, both being Dark Maiar below Morgoth. More or less, they would be equals leading an army, not master and servant, which is probably why he had Zog attempt to control the beast. But as Celebrimbor says,
Fools. No one can tame a Balrog.
next is an incredibly small one, referring to Ratbag's Olog friend, Ranger, or more accurately, his real name, Osharto. This one is small, but it should be pretty evident that this name isn't possible to get for your own Olog, sadly. And lastly, for number 10, we have what a Drake actually is. And I wasn't aware of this until I looked through the appendices, so here's a strange one. Drakes are a crossbreed, bred by Sauron in the pits of Barad-dûr, to create the infertile Drake from the parents of a dragon and a fell beast. Yeah, that was interesting to read. Drakes are apparently the unholy love child of a dragon and a fell beast. So, that would explain their odd physiology of looking like a fell beast got tanned. And at this point, I don't know who I feel worse for. The freaking Drake for having to exist from that pairing, or the dragon that definitely did not want that to happen. I'll let you discuss who got the worst end of the stick on that one. As for the fell beast, I don't even know if those things are sentient or smart enough to understand their situation. That is just an odd creation. I thought drakes were just another thing, but nope. They are one strange creature, that's for sure. And that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you maybe didn't know some of these or found my ramblings interesting, but With that, if you did enjoy this video, maybe hit the like button, and if you like what I do or want to stick around for more, consider subscribing and, well, you know, now that it's a thing, maybe joining membership. Maybe go check out my varied gaming channel, Snapshot, and if you're interested in my own storytelling stuff and things, check out the 10th Universe Lorekeeper. And since I'm more active over there, go check out Vinland Siberians for huskies and cuteness. With that, goodbye. But seriously, what is with the drakes?